Okay guys, so today I am here with another tier list, this time for games from 2007, and like I said before, I'm only rating games that I have played, so if you don't see a game here that you like or play, it's because I didn't play it. I'm only rating games that I played. So let's begin with one of the best Dragon Ball, if not the best Dragon Ball game of all times, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. This might still be the best Dragon Ball game ever, with the roster size that it has, with more than 150 characters, and the gameplay that it has. This Sparking Zero might beat Tenkaichi 3, but until then, until the release, Tenkaichi 3 is still the best Dragon Ball Z game ever made, at least in my opinion. Next, the first Assassin's Creed game. When I first saw this game, I was very intrigued by it, and then I bought it and played it, and I was like, man, this is a game in the future, but in the past at the same time. It was kind of weird at the beginning, but then I fell in love with it, and but it has some problems with gameplay, so I'm putting at A. I might change, but for now I'll leave it at A. Next, one of the best Call of Duty games ever made, the first Modern Warfare. This might still be the game that has the best stealth mission probably ever, the sniper one. I don't remember the name of the mission, I'm sorry, but I really don't. But I really love this game. I still remember playing on PC, and my PC barely being able to run it, but it could run it, but sometimes at low FPS, but I could play it anyway, and still one of my favorite Call of Duty games, and I'm putting on S because I really enjoyed the game. Next, the first Witcher game, the beginning of a great franchise, and I beat the game recently because I went to beat all the Witcher games again in order, and the first Witcher, man, the gameplay is the biggest problem with that. The gameplay is so weird with the game, but besides the gameplay and some problems with graphics and all of that, I really enjoy the game. I'm not gonna put it on S, mainly because of the gameplay, but everything else I really love the game. Ever since I played it the first time, I fell in love with it, and I've been a fan of the franchise ever since. Next, Can It Run Crysis. The Crysis game. When this game came out, it was basically destroying every PC that existed. Even almost 20 years later, people still meme on the Can It Run Crysis. Not so much, but you can still find it around. But besides the graphics, I think the gameplay was quite good. I beat the game quite recently. The only thing that annoyed me was at the end, you need to grab a bazooka to beat the last boss, but the game doesn't tell you need the bazooka. So I went right past to it and and didn't grab it, and so when I get to the final boss, I could not beat it because I didn't have the bazooka. Excuse me. And that was the only thing that really pissed me off in a way, but besides that, I still think it's a very good game, very good gameplay. The graphics don't hold that much anymore, but for a almost 20-year-old game, very good. Next, a strategy game, Empire Earth 3. There was the Empire Earth games, and then there was the Age of Empires game. I always enjoyed the Age of Empires game more, and Age of Empires 3 is one of my favorite strategy games ever. But this was also not that bad, but I'm leaving it at B because it had some issues, and I always enjoyed the Age of Empires more, so I'll leave it there. Next we have episode 2 of Half-Life 2. This I'm gonna put it as the Half-Life 2. When it came, I put it in an S. The episode 1, I put it an A because the length of episode 1 was very short, but with episode 2 it was a bit longer. It has one of the greatest, I'm not gonna say greatest, but one of the best cliffhangers in gaming history, and probably one that will never be finished, because I guess they refused to do Half-Life 3, but the Half-Life 2 and the DLC is still one of my favorite games ever. Next, Heavenly Sword. This game, I remember playing it, I don't think I finished it, and it's a bit of annoying because I don't have an original PS3 controller, and Sony did this with exclusive games for the PlayStation, where it had some mechanics that you need the PS3 original controller to do that, and it's a bit annoying, but and the gameplay was a bit weird as well. It was kinda trying to emulate God of War, but not as good, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't that good either, so I'm leaving it at B. Next, Kane Unleash. When I first played this game, at first I thought it was gonna be kinda like a GTA game, but then it's just a linear single player game. It's not open world and nothing like that, but for the time it was very good, fun, kind of a crazy story, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Next, Lego Star Wars Complete Saga. This may be my first Lego game, and I've said it in the past and I'll say it again, I'm not a big Star. I've never watched the movie, it's not never, I saw some things of the movies of Star Wars, but I was never a big fan of the movies, but the games I always enjoyed, and I always thought they were cool. And Lego Star Wars did some funny things with the characters and all of that, and it's just a fun game to play to pass the time, kinda. But yeah, I'll leave it an A because I had fun playing the game. Next, the first Mass Effect. The only reason I don't put Mass Effect at S, it's because the gameplay was kind of not bad, but also not that good. With the Legendary Collection that they had, or Legendary Edition, they improved the gameplay, but this first one, it's still a bit rough to go back to. The story very good, the decisions and all of that, but the gameplay itself, it was a bit rough, let's say. Next, Medal of Honor Airborne. Man, I wish they brought back the Medal of Honor games. And I remember also playing this one, but it wasn't that great. And then you compare it to the Modern Warfare that released in the same year, and it's like not even close to Modern Warfare. Still a good war game to play, it could be fun, but nowhere near as good as Modern Warfare. Next, Stranglehold. I even beat this game kinda recently as well. Man, in terms of action and shooting and all of that, awesome game. With the destruction on the environments and the slow motion and all of that. Great gameplay. The story is kind of meh, but the gameplay awesome. Next, Overlord. I remember playing this game and I enjoyed it for what it was, but it wasn't that how do I say it? It wasn't that enticing to me. I enjoyed some parts of the gameplay, but the game didn't kinda grab my attention for that long, if that makes sense. And for that reason I will leave it at B, just because I had some fun with the minions and all of that, but the rest of it I was like, if I try it again I might change my mind, but for what I remember I'm leaving it there. Next, the first Portal. And this game, I know people love these games, and I beat them, and I'm leaving it at A because basically the game is not that. I know the second one is also not that long, but it just puzzles, and I know the puzzles are fun and are kinda, how do I say it? Man, sometimes words are hard. I know. I'm sorry, but I don't know where I was going with that thought. But I don't know. I like the games, but I don't think I'm putting it on an S. I leave it at A. I think that's good enough. Next, Pro Evolution Soccer 2008. As I said with all other football games I played, it's good for fun with friends. Basically, you play with your friends, have a bit fun for a couple of hours, and that's it. It's not that big of a deal. Next, Stalker. Here's the thing. I know people really love the Stalker games, and I tried the game for multiple times and I could never get into the game. And I will even put it at C. I don't know why, but I could never understood the mechanics in the game and the gameplay, and then the radiation and all of that. I could never really wrap my hand around it. It might be that I'm just a bit of stupid, but that's probably the reason. But I could never get into the game that much, so I tried it for a dozen times, and after a couple of hours I will always give up and say, man, screw this, I'm not wasting my time in here. So I'll leave it there because I could never get it. Next, SmackDown vs Raw 2008. Man, these SmackDown vs Raw games, 2007 I put it at an S, and I will put this one at an S also. I love this game so much. The amount of things that you could do, roster size was not as big as today's, but today's roster, they have more to pull from. They have NXT and SmackDown and Raw and all of the legends and all of that, but the things you could do in the game and the gameplay, it was a big improvement from 2007. Although there's one thing that the 2007 game has that I talked about, that it was the weight detection. You basically could not do nothing against the biggest opponents like Big Show, Mark Henry and all of that, and they kinda removed that afterwards, but man, this might still be or this one or the 2007 might still be my favorite wrestling games I ever played. So I'll leave it there just because of the amount of hours I spent playing the game. Next, the first Uncharted. Man, it was the first game that I played in the PS3. When I played the PS3, it was the game that came with it, and I started playing and I fell in love with it just instantly. Great game, great graphics, story awesome. The gameplay had its problems mainly when you were trying to jump from some places to others, and you would not grab, or you would fall, or invisible walls and all of that. But besides that, I'm also tempted again putting at an S, but some parts of the gameplay I will leave it there. When we get to Uncharted 2, then it's another story, but until then this one stays here. Next, Virtua Fighter 5. I kind of recently played this game. It was on I don't know if you guys will know, but the Judgment game, and it's made for the guys that do Yakuza or Like a Dragon, and they have the Virtua Fighter 5 as mini game inside the game, if that makes sense to you. And man, it's just a fighting game to play, to enjoy it a little bit, but I was never that big of a fighting game fan myself, so I'll leave it at C, because it just it can be enjoyable. Next, Ben 10 Protector of Earth. Me and my brother, we loved this game. We played it so much on the PS2, and I'm even tempting and putting an A just because how much I have good memories of the game. But I will leave it at B because it's not on the same league as these ones. It's not even in the same conversation, let's say. It's just because I have some fond memories of the game, and I'll leave it there. Next, Spider-Man 3. Man, this game has probably the funniest failed time events, quick time events that of any game. It's the second game is still talked about as one of the best Spider-Man games, and then this one came out. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, so it might be that. But graphically, it had some problems. Didn't look as good as it should, as I should say, but I don't feel putting at an S, so I leave it at B, just because Spider-Man. Next, and this is the only Sims game I ever played. Sims 2 Castaway, and the only reason I played this Sims 2 game is because it was, as the name says, Castaway, and you were, if I'm not mistaken, kind of on an island, and you had to survive, and you had to build shelter and get food and all of that. And I played the game just because of that survival element of the game, and I like survival games, and so it's the only Sims game I ever played, and it was only because of the survival elements of the game. But besides that, I'm not a big fan of Sims games. Next, Halo. I think this is Halo 3. I only recently played the Halo games. I bought the Master Collection and I played the campaign with my brother. We played in co-op, and man, I know people really like the Halo games, but for me they were just they are okay. For me they're not that oh my god, biggest gaming thing ever. They are fun to play, but not that thing for best. I know some people might disagree and all of that, but it's just my opinion, man. Next, Infernal. Probably most people will not know about this game, but this game is basically Max Payne with devil powers. It's the only thing I can think of to describe this game. But the first time I enter the game, and then rock music starts to play and gets you hyped up to play the game, and then if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong, but I think you kinda die, and then the Satan, the devil, whatever, shows up to bring you back to life, I think, if I'm not mistaken, to get revenge on the people that killed you, and then it gives you power and you go and kill everybody. And man, I loved this game, and it was very fun for me. It's not on the same league as Uncharted and Stranglehold and Crysis and all of that, but such a fun game, man. I enjoyed it very much. Next, God of War 2. This right to the top. Awesome game. I still remember the first time I saw it. It was at a friend of mine, at the house of a friend of mine, and he was playing the game, and I saw it was after he loses his powers to Zeus, and then he goes to that giant, to that cave where the ice giant is, to get the bow and all of that. And it has that, I think it's the Pegasus that is flying you there. And man, I saw him play the game, and I was like, man, I need to buy this for myself. And then when I got the game for myself, man, I played it and I beat this game more times than I can remember. I was playing this game all the time. I loved it so much. The boss battles, the gameplay, everything, man. And fun fact, I beat the God of War 2 game before I had the first God of War. I never played the first God of War until I saw the God of War 2, and then I beat God of War 2, and then I went back to play God of War 1, and only then did I beat it. Next, the first Bioshock. Bioshock, man. I enjoy the game, but I even recently beat the entire the 3 games, and I like them, but I'm not that big of a fan. I know people love the game and the story is good and all of that, but there's some things about the gameplay that I don't like that very much, but it might just be me. But I think they are fun games. I'm not saying they are bad games with bad gameplays, none of that. They are fun games, good games even, to play. Next, Transformers the game. Man, I remember my cousin, I think it was my cousin, offering me this game for for my birthday. And this was kind of open world, and you could how do I say, you could walk around and then transform into car or transform into robot and just do things whenever you wanted. And it was fun, but it had some real problems also with gameplay and all of that, but they were fun for what they were. Next, Need for Speed Pro Street. This is one, man, it still baffles me looking back how good Need for Speed games were back then. But I like this game very much. I know some people had problems with it because they were just racing. They weren't open world like the other Need for Speeds were. It was just racing in competition and all of that. But the customization and all of that were still good, and I played this game also a lot, and I enjoyed it for what it was. And finally, Tomb Raider Anniversary, basically a remake of the first Tomb Raider game. Very good game, liked it very much. Kind of annoying in some parts, but overall I liked it very much. I'm a fan of the Tomb Raider games, and this one was good enough for me. Minor some annoying things and puzzles that the game had, but okay guys, that's it. That's my tier list for the 2007 games. Next time I will do 2008, and I will do them until I reach 2024, and then I will do them once per year for the games of that year. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you disagree with some things on the list, if you think some games should be above or below others. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.